Alright, so today you're going to learn about using properties of trapezoids and kites. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. The parallel sides are called the bases, just like in an isosceles triangle. Okay, so you got your bases. Trapezoid has two pair of base angles, for example, and here we have the base angles of A and D on this base, and then we have the base angles of B and C. The non-parallel sides are called legs. A trapezoid is isosceles, meaning that the two legs will be congruent if each of the base angles is congruent, each pair. So if the top base angles are congruent to each other and then the bottom base angles are congruent to each other, if and only if those things are congruent, meaning those legs. The next thing we got is a trapezoid has a congruent, if a trapezoid has a pair of congruent base angles, one pair, then the legs will be congruent, therefore it's an isosceles, which then would make these top base angles also congruent. A trapezoid is isosceles if and only if its diagonals are congruent. So kind of like a rectangle, you can have the diagonals be congruent, and then that will also mean that the legs are congruent. You can go either way because it's an if and only if statement. Now, the next part is the tricky part. Not really tricky, but it is information, the mid-segment theorem for trapezoids. So the mid-segment theorem for trapezoid is parallel to each base and is length of half the sum of the lengths of the bases. Now, this is different than in a triangle. When you had a mid-segment in a triangle, it was just 1/2 the base. Well, in a trapezoid, you have two bases, so you can't just pick which base you want to use. So therefore, you must do half the sum of the bases. Okay? That's the only thing that's different is you're going to add your two bases because you don't know which base you're going to use versus the mid-segment of a triangle. Therefore, that would be the sum up of the trapezoids. So, a kite. A kite is a quadrilateral that has two pairs of consecutive sides, but opposite sides are not congruent. So these opposite sides cannot be congruent. If they were congruent, then you would be at a parallelogram, and a kite is definitely not a parallelogram. The special rules with a kite is a quadrilateral is a kite, then its diagonals are perpendicular, so you get a bunch of right triangles. And then also, if a quadrilateral is a kite, then it has exactly one pair of opposite angles are congruent, and these opposite angles are between the two sets of congruent sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some math. Okay? So we're going to start with showing that XYZ is a trapezoid. First you want to do is start with slopes of opposite sides. So YZ slope should be equal to XW slope, and then YX's slope should not be equal to ZW slope. Sorry you hear my son, we're at home, or at the school doing subplans. 1, 2, so we went down 2, 1, 2, 3, down 3, down 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for XW, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I not count? 1, 2, 3. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So down 4, 8. These both equal 1/2, so their slopes are the same. Take it back, -1/2. And now to do my other slopes of YX. Down 1, 2, 3. To the left 1. And then Z. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. To the right 1. That would be +3 does not equal -4. So it's a trapezoid because it has one set of parallel sides. Now, the next part is the top of the table of diagrams isosceles, which means these legs are congruent, which means base angles are congruent down there, and these are up here. Okay? Now, here's what we got. If M is 65, measure of angle M equals 65, that would also equal the measure of angle P, which means that we have 65 plus 65 plus 2x, because N and O are the same angle, which add up to be 360 because the sum of the angles in the quadrilateral are 360. So 130 plus 2x equals 360. 2x equals 230. Divide by 2. X equals 115. So that's how we find the missing angles of a isosceles triangle, and you guys could not see the math of that, so let me move that over here. So I subtracted 130, divided by 2, and got 115. Alright. So doing this one here, mid-segment. 6, 18 are my two bases, so 1/2. 6 plus 18 equals 1/2 of 24, which equals 12 centimeters. Okay, find the unknown value in the kite. Since it's a kite, we know that angle A and angle C are congruent, so I have 2 x's plus 84 plus 140 equals 360. So 2x plus 224 equals 360. 2x equals 136. Angle A and angle C both equal 68 degrees. Now, explanations. Is a kite a parallelogram? The answer is no. Opposite sides are not congruent in a kite. Is a rhombus a kite? Explain. No. Opposite sides are not congruent in a kite. In a rhombus, all sides are congruent, which therefore opposite sides are congruent, which is why a rhombus is a parallelogram. Is a trapezoid a parallelogram? No. Only one pair of parallel sides. All right, there's a lesson for 8.5. Homework. That is a good question. Homework will be the following questions. Let's see. Homework will be, and it might be slightly different than what some of you have been told, so bear with me. I have nothing here with me, so I'm going to kind of make this up as we go. Let's go. Let's go 3 through 27. So your homework will be page 540. 3 through 27.